of Paradyme Podcast. We're excited that you're here. We're going to be discussing Beyond Good and Evil by Friedrich Nietzsche. Today's aphorisms are 231 through 239, and we're actually finishing up a chapter today titled Our Virtues. So today's discussion is going to have some interesting topics.
We don't agree with them all, guys. Here's the deal. When we do this, we're just reading words that are in a book, and then we start to talk about it. Okay, so these words are by Friedrich Nietzsche, and some people might get a laugh at this, honestly. So let's just that's really.
But it'll be an interesting discussion. So buckle up. Also,
Go up, cowgirls.
I'll start with 231.
Okay, yeah. Actually, you take that one, sure. All right.
31. Learning alters us.
Ooh, I like this one.
It does what all nourishment does, that does not merely conserve, as a physiologist knows. But at the bottom of our souls, quite down below, there is certainly something unteachable, of granite, of spiritual fate, of predetermined decision and answers to predetermined, chosen questions. In each cardinal problem, there speaks an unchangeable I am this. A thinker cannot learn anew about man and woman, for instance, but can only learn fully. He can only follow to the end what is fixed about them in himself. Occasionally, we find certain solutions of problems which make strong beliefs for us. Perhaps they are henceforth called convictions. Later on, one sees in them only footsteps to self-knowledge, guideposts to the problem which we ourselves are, or more correctly, to the great stupidity which we embody, our spiritual fate, the unteachable in us, quite down below. In view of this liberal compliment, which I have just paid myself, permission will perhaps be more readily allowed me to utter some truths about woman as she is, provided that it is known at the outset how literally they are merely my truths.
Okay, I mean, I think that's great. He's literally setting you up for, he's like, okay, give me a little bit of slack here. I would like the preference that I know nothing about women. That's what he's saying. He said that very eloquently, but like, that's what he's saying. He's like, I know nothing about them. So in my opinion, here's a couple of things that I think I know. But again, it's impossible for me to know.
Yeah, he said these are my opinions.
Yeah.
Right?
So he's literally asking, he's like, give me a little bit of grace here because I'm actually about to go off on a tangent and like I'm preferencing. I understand nothing about them. That's why I'm writing this, because I'm frustrated.
Right. Yeah. He's slapping his knees, loosening up. He's about to go into it.
And he's like, boys, you might like what I'm about to say here, but who knows?
Right. As long as it's known that these are just my personal truths.
Yeah.
No, he talks about this immutable core, that spiritual faith, where like everybody has this like center of the onion, right? And everything else on top of that is just learned material. But ultimately, there's this core of what does he say here?
The granite like
spiritual faith. So like you're destined, you know? Do you guys agree that there's like these unchangeable core that every person has?
No, I think I disagree. And I think that's kind of what he gets at in this whole like next chapter is that, I mean, I think some people are really moved by emotions. Okay. And like the things that they care about are not granite like or fixed. They're actually all in like response to like stimuli, and then how their emotions make them feel is how they determine what it is.
The emotions would be a spiritual faith then.
No, because you can't write your emotions into concrete, but I can write my principles into granite.
How about the intensity in which you feel them?
How would you carve that into granite for someone else to like? You make art, maybe.
Like a person is highly emotional versus a person who's not so highly emotional. Like being highly emotional is part of that core.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I think it's just
So someone's like personality, what you're saying? That's their core?
Right. Well, that would be their spiritual fate. Their personality is determined by that spiritual fate, is what he's saying. Like, depending on external stimulus, it doesn't matter what it is. Ultimately, there's a spiritual fate by which you answer questions or the way you conduct your actions.
No, I disagree. I disagree with that because, like, I mean, a lot of like your personality and how you like run through life is like how are you kind of pre-programmed as like a young person? You know, like did you have stability in your life or did you not have stability in your life? And like that predetermines like so much of like how you even like reason. You know?
Yeah.
So like,
it's not so much nature.
Yeah, like, that same person could have like a different core if like that's the context. If they just like had different stimuli growing up.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like, if that were the case where everybody had the spiritual faith they were born with, like kids would have morals without having to be taught, right?
And maybe, yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's always this corny thing where they go, you know, kids are innocent or whatever. And like, there's always a picture of them like playing innocently. But if you've ever seen kids play for real, they're kind of mean because they're testing the waters all the fucking time, you know? And like, your parents teach you, hey, like, you can't, like, don't put, like, you shouldn't push kids down, like, when you're at the park, or like, you shouldn't kick sand in people's face. You have to be taught that, you know? Because, like, so, yeah. If not, kids will be born with morals, and like, they're fucking not. They're like taught.
Okay. So disagree a bit. I could see that. I mean, it's the Neji argument, right? Or it's like you're born with a certain fate. Naruto shows up and shows that that's not the case. You can change it.
Yeah. I think it's all about, you can, I don't think we have a predestined core. I think we have like a predestined, like, maybe like set of like attributes, you know, that are like predetermined for you. Height, weight, you know, like how smart are you? Like how smart were your parents? I think all that stuff really does come to play. But like once you get that, then it's baseline like blank canvas. And like how do you sharpen yourself if you like to?
Yeah, it's Fallout where you have to allocate points to different attributes of your character.
That's how I think about it. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think of a lot of like that. Like, yeah. How do you allocate the available points that I have? You know, right. What can I apply that to and still like have like a good build? You know, like if you're a playable character, exactly.
Yeah. Right. All right. Well, let's jump into Aphorism 232. Does anybody want to read this one? I could do it if nobody else does.
I don't feel right. Okay, go for it, David.
All right. 232. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can you hear me in the mic check?
Mic check. All right. 232. Woman wishes to be independent, and therefore she begins to enlighten men about woman as she is. This is one of the worst developments of the general uglifying of Europe. For what must these clumsy attempts of feminine scientificality and self-exposure bring to light? Woman has so much cause for shame. In woman there is so much pedantry, superficiality, schoolmasterliness, petty presumption, unbridledness, and indiscretion concealed. Study only woman's behavior towards children, which has really been best restrained and dominated hitherto by the fear of man. Alas, ever the eternally tedious in woman, she has plenty of it, is allowed to venture forth. If she begins radically and on principle to unlearn her wisdom and art of charming, of playing, of frightening away sorrow, of alleviating and taking easily, if she forgets her delicate aptitude for agreeable desires, female voices are already raised, which by Saint Aristophanes make one afraid. With medical explicitness, it is stated in a threatening manner what a woman first and last requires from man. It is not in the very worst taste that woman thus sets herself up to be scientific. Enlightenment hitherto has fortunately been men's affair. Men's gift, we remain therewith among ourselves, and in the end, in view of all that women write about woman, we may well have considerable doubt as to whether woman really desires enlightenment about herself, and can desire it. If woman does not thereby seek a new ornament for herself, I believe ornamentation belongs to the eternally feminine. Why then she wishes to make herself feared. Perhaps she thereby wishes to get the mastery. But she does not want truth. What does woman care for truth? From the very first, nothing is more foreign, more repugnant, or more hostile to woman than truth. Her great art is falsehood. Her chief concern is appearance and beauty. Let us confess it. We men, we honor and love this very art and this very instinct in woman. We who have heard the hard task and for our recreation gladly seek the company of beings under whose hands, glances, and delicate follies our seriousness, our gravity, and profoundly appear almost like follies to us. Finally, I ask the question, did a woman herself ever acknowledge profundity in a woman's mind or justice in a woman's heart? And is it not true that on the whole, woman has therefore been most despised by women herself and not at all by us? We men desire that woman should not continue to compromise herself by enlightening us. Just as it was men's care and the consideration for woman, when the church decreed mulier taciat in ecclesia, it was to the benefit of women when Napoleon gave the too eloquent Madame de Stael to understand mulier taciat in politices. And in my opinion, he's a true friend of women who calls out to women today, mulier taciat de mulierel. Wow.
So those French terms, mulier taciat in ecclesia is a woman should be silent in church. Mulier taciat in politices is a woman should be silent in politics. And mulier taciat de mulierel is woman should be quiet about the woman.
Okay. Okay, let's get into it.
So when I'm hearing it read to me again, after reading it, I'm like, oh, damn, this boy like fucking combos. He's like,
I mean, the first line, he goes, women wishes to be independent, and therefore she begins to enlighten men about woman as she is. It's like, we've all been there where like, you know, our girl, like whoever it is like, has to tell you about like, you know, what it's like to be a fucking woman, you know? And like blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And you'd have to sit there and be like,
right, you're right.
mm-hmm. So like, that's really how he starts it off, you know?
Yeah. And he says, this is one of the worst developments of the general occupying of Europe.
I really love, like, you summarize when he starts talking about like, they're forgetting the art of kind of being, like light and like gracious. And like, really, like all we're looking for is like, at the end of the day, man, like speaking from our perspective, we don't necessarily like are looking for an enlightened woman or an independent woman. What we're looking for is someone to help like literally ease the seriousness of life. Like, well, what we want is like literally like someone who's not weighed down by all those fucking things that we have to deal with. Like, we want someone to just like literally like a soft hand and like a gentle voice to, like, for us to come home to after like a stressful day of real life. Like, we don't like, in the perfect world, you wouldn't have to deal with real life. All I have, like, you know, like that, like really, like what he's saying. And he's like,
jump around and chase butterflies and hang out with the kids and stuff. That would be the perfect world.
And he's like, but what they're teaching them right now, or what they're gearing at right now, is like the independence from all that. And he's like, you're care, by the way, which is like, they don't have to, you know. But so I thought that was real interesting. I kind of almost agree in some ways, you know. And then I like the part where he talks about, where he's like, women themselves are the biggest haters, and men are not. Where he's like, finally asked the question, did a woman herself ever acknowledge profundity in a woman's mind or justice in a woman's heart? And is it not true that on the whole, woman has hitherto been more despised by a woman herself? So he's like all the time right now, especially because like a man is in school or whatever, there's like a cohort of people and like chicks, and like they're all younger, and they're all like, and like there's always just like girl drama that like for real, like I feel like guys just do not give a shit about, you know? Because like, but like, so like he's making the point that like actually women are the ones who keep other women down the most, really.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to think he's classified. He said that women, the whole appeal to women about man is that they're light, like John's saying, is that they're kind of this like cloudy.
Way out.
Yeah, he mentions later that they're birds that come down from elevation that we can enjoy, right? Like they
Make us like magical.
you away from all the other stuff. Where like the enlightened world, like he's mentioning about, like you're taking away the appeal.
Question: is David and Down frozen for you guys?
No.
For you?
No, might be your connection.
Okay, you guys are frozen.
You were lagging out a little bit.
For real. Okay. Okay. Keep going.
Yeah. Okay. So, like he's saying, the woman that's trying to become enlightened or that becomes enlightened takes away from their appeal as a woman. It's an interesting idea. Like you're saying, our perfect girl, that is perfect girl. Like women wouldn't even have to worry about that. But yeah, it's just an interesting idea. What do you guys think?
I think he's pointing out a lot of like the modern day theory of like sexual liberation and like feminism, especially with that first statement, and then he moves into like I guess how my brain interpreted it was like the beauty industry, how he talks about what did he say? Is it not considered, or I believe she does not want truth. What does woman care for truth? From the very first thing is more foreign and more repugnant, more hostile to woman than truth. Her great art is falsehood. Her chief concern is appearance and beauty. And I think it's like kind of just looking at the whole dynamic of like why makeup in the industry of like beauty even exists. You could say it comes from in so many different industries and forms, and it's showcased in so many different ways. But I think women are looking to impress other women by their own beauty standard. I would make the claim or the bold statement of like most men would prefer a woman without makeup, and have the most organic or natural beauty to what you truly look like underneath everything. I don't know. That's just I think most.
Like not 100% but it is nice like when they put on makeup and they look good and shit.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think it's just more to the point, like when we wake up in the morning, like we want to be able to kiss you and not have to like wipe our face because there's stuff all over your like face,
Oh man, taking all the makeup.
It's interesting to see. It gives weight to what he's saying too, because it has to be one of the chief concerns for women as a whole. Like, yes, there's exceptions and individuals. Like, my fiance doesn't wear a makeup really ever, but as a whole, woman buys into the beauty industry, right? There's whole industries, sub-industries within it. So it does add weight to what he's saying about their chief concern. If it's not their chief concern, it's one of them,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like think about it, like every fucking like white girl in the world bought a Stanley Cup because like that's what like TikTok called.
Right. And all of them have that like reverse bracket. All the girl where they have like really light makeup in the eye area. Every girl doing that right now. Have you seen that? Look, I have a reverse raccoon.
No.
That was like brighter or something right here. Yeah, I've seen that a lot right now.
Yeah, so like, it's definitely it's one of the chief concerns because it's sessions,
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
All right. Anything else to add?
I'll just say I feel like this it seems like this section of like these next aphorisms even coming up so far in the book have been the most like friction that I think he has with like the opposite sex, and there's also interesting that I think that there's like he talks about that men are like we love the kind of chaos or the energy that kind of comes from that. We love the folly, we love the gentleness and all those things too, but there's something that's like attractive, like he might be pointing just like it's one of those like granite stone things inside of us. It's like a core spiritual, like almost like the opposite shaped block that fits that side, you know, like we're
Well, I mean, very true. I mean, like, despite all of this, what he's gonna get into, we literally like still chase them like fucking rabid dogs. You know, he goes through all of this, and he's still like foaming at the mouth when like a pretty one walks in the door. I think you're ready to accept all of that. You know, you're like, sign me up, bro. We're not going to sign up, bro. Like, I want that and more. Fuck it. You know?
Yeah.
Because like we really just can't help ourselves.
Yeah, he's saying that women's strength lies in their charm, mystery, and aesthetic ornamentation.
Yeah, the ornamentation was interesting.
Right, which is like, you know, I've heard about types of partners that men are looking for in wives, you know, and there's a trophy, and that's an ornament, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you're each other's ornament, really.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So, especially in today's world.
Right, and then like them becoming more knowledgeable about, you know, things in enlightenment or whatever. Right, it takes away from that beauty, is what he's saying.
I agree.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
233. Who wants that one?
I want 234. So save me 234. I think
I'll read this one. 233 begins. It portrays corruption of the instincts. Apart from the fact that it portrays bad taste, when a woman refers to Madame Roland, or Madame d'Estel, or Monsieur George Sand, as though something were proved thereby in favor of woman as she is. Among men, there are the three comical women as they are, nothing more, and just the best involuntary counter arguments against feminine emancipation and autonomy.
All right.
Yeah, I'm not like too sure. I thought he was I feel like I understand the part where he mentions the three kinds of women. But I think that's this. I don't know. You can see that his text is like relatively outdated, just like the time that he wrote this. But
these three people are feminist icons, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure if you talk to feminists today, at least some of them
know them.
who these people are, right? So Madame Roland channeled her considerable intellect in supporting her husband's career, believing it was the best way to contribute to society. So she was like a really good scientist, right? And
what is fucking good bitch? Help her husband.
So she participated in his career rather than creating her own because it didn't serve, right? Madame made
Is it serve?
Madame d'Estel, her contributions include her introduction of liberalism and liberal internationalism as distinct concepts, her work on the importance of gender in society and politics, and her significant role in popularizing Kantian philosophy in France. So during the like Enlightenment era, she was introducing liberalism and internationalism, those type of ideas.
Did you say her name?
Madame d'Estel. And then Monsieur George Sand is a pseudonym. It's a woman that published work under a male's name to challenge gender roles and societal constraints. So these are like feminist icons, you know? And he's saying these are the three most comical women and nothing more.
Kind of crazy.
It is.
I mean, he'd be canceled instantly.
I don't know much about those three, right? But
ended in my 10, so I really have nothing to input.
It makes me think of like the Black Lives Matter thing, right? Where like you look at the leadership of the group, and they don't do anything that helps those Black lives, right? At least this is what I've heard. And so like,
well, yes, true.
People that actually look into it and look at it, these people are comical. Like it's actually bad, you know, like taking that money, but in a sense, it's comical that they could do it, right? So he might know something more than we do, because I don't know much about these women other than what I just read. But he's saying that these women don't actually serve the purpose that they say they do, where they're fighting for gender roles and equality, societal's perception of women, but they actually are doing the complete opposite, that they're a counter argument. Like most people look at that and say that's a reason why we don't do it.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second.
What do you guys think of that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the conversation around like the whole feminist thing is like always like super sticky, especially here in the West. Like,
Yeah.
I think we truly understand, like, for one, why women are put on front lines of wars. You know what I mean? Like, we clearly understand why, or like the whole CEO versus becoming an underwater welding like suit. You know what I mean? Someone that's or like, why do you want to be the CEO of a company versus like making the same amount of money as a welder that does like deep sea water? Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're essentially the same salary, but you prefer to be in the office. So I don't know. There's like, I think we clearly know the differences, but it's always like this, like, you're misogynistic, and it's like, not really. It's just there's a clear difference between us as species.
Okay. Can I tell you a funny story that relates to this? So Amanda and I were talking about this, but it was like the difference. She's like, there almost are no differences. I was like, okay. I was like, the fact that women can do everything that guys can do. I was like, okay. How about this? I was like, there's a fucking really heavy piece of furniture to move. It's movie day. Who do you call? 6 chicks or 6 dudes? And she just laughed. I was like, that's my fucking thought. You're gonna call fucking 6 dudes. I was like, there's just like there are differences, you know? Like they can't compete evenly in some arenas. But like again, if it's moving day, you're not gonna call 6 Sarahs. You're gonna call 6 Stevens, you know?
But if, you know,
And then we're trans, then bring them over.
been juiced, they got teeth.
But now he definitely got gaggled. He said all the words.
Yeah. And where I stand on the issue is like, I think that the opportunity should be open, but merit should take precedent, right? Like, should take priority.
Meritocracy is always the best way.
And so, like, you know, if somebody else is better for the job, it happens to be a male, then that's who should get the job, you know? But
I don't disagree.
what he's saying is just like, you know, I can kind of see in a sense what he's saying. Like, these people of his time, like, are like maybe to him modern people that show up to a Charlie Kirk thing with blue hair, you know, and they're like feminist this.
I mean, you used to make that same argument about like even the same argument about like Kamala Harris. Like, she's a woman vice president off of what? Like, her premise is that just be like she is a woman. Like, we would be like, that's laughable. But someone from 100 years from now wouldn't like get the joke.
Right.
You know, because it's like, bro, it's Kamala. Like, she can't even like the Subway Takes interview couldn't even be aired because she couldn't be coherent. Anyway, let's move on.
Yeah. All right. 234.
All right. I thought this one was funny. That one was funny, so that's why I wanted to read it. Okay. Stupidity in the kitchen. Woman as a cook. The terrible thoughtlessness with which the feeding of the family and the master of the house is managed. Woman does not understand what food means, and she insists on being cook. If woman had been a thinking creature, she would certainly, as a cook for thousands of years, have discovered the most important psychological facts, and should likewise have got possession of the healing art. Through bad female cooks, through the entire lack of reason in the kitchen, the development of mankind has been longest retarded and most interfered with. Even today matters are very little better. A word to high school girls. So I just thought that was funny. I think this one sentence, through the entire lack of reason in the kitchen, it was like almost like a word from my dad when he talks about my mom when she's not around. He goes, it's just crazy. Like, having her in the kitchen with me. He's like, you just have to leave. I'm going to take care. She's like, he's grabbing things from all over. He's like, she's got no method. She starts one thing and then starts another.
Yeah.
What? He's like, no, he's like, she's trying to cook the potatoes last. Because you cook potatoes first, they take the longest. You know, he's like, how have you been doing this for this long? You still don't know that. Like, you know, so I thought it was funny to read this and then to reflect back with my dad. And like, again, like, he starts all this being like, I know nothing. These are all just my opinions. So I just thought it was kind of funny where like the tone of this chapter was like, in another thing, you know, it can't even cook. I just thought that's like he's really just like, hey, on a second, guys, buckle up. I'm going to just start going in on my disdain for women is what he's doing. Literally. He dedicated like the tail end of his chapter about it.
Number.
Oh, bro. Literally, look at the tone of this.
Even said the R word, dude. That's kind of
The mankind has been long retarded.
They say they're cooked. Man, shit. What you was saying? What you was saying? Bro, we're soft sensitive. Fuck them, dude.
Listen, that's because the common trope when it's like time to cook steak, just dad just like fuckers like, no, this time we can't fuck this up. Like I paid a lot of money for this steak, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, there's whole memes about it, right? Like when your dad comes to cook that one amazing meal and then try to cook dip.
Literally, your dad locks in for like one day out of 6 months, and he's like, I'm gonna show you how it's really done, and then never again.
It's a funny one. That's a funny afterwards, man. Really, that's hilarious.
I think it's
man. Yeah. All right. 235. I'll take care of. There are turns and casts of fancy. There are sentences, little handfuls of words, in which a whole culture, a whole society suddenly crystallizes itself. Among these is the incidental remark of Madame de Lambert to her son.
Mon ami.
Ne vous permettez, Hayamis, que des folies qui vous feront grand plaisir.
Yeah.
The motherliest and wisest remark, by the way, that has ever been addressed to a son.
All right, translate it to me, Jack.
So that's 235. That translates to, my dear, never allow yourself anything but those follies which will bring you great pleasure. And a folly is a costly. So there's two things. It's a costly ornamental building with no practical purpose or lack of good sense, foolishness. So
Normally means lack of good sense.
Right. And so like, don't ever allow yourself any follies except for ones that are going to bring you great pleasure. That's like hedonism at its peak.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's he's saying that's the motherliest and wisest remark ever addressed to a son.
From
a mom. The wisest thing a mom's ever said.
I don't know. The reading this definitely like there's definitely a sense of like this pessimistic view that he didn't get enough attention from women towards like his later years in life, and so definitely like reading
incel energy.
Huh?
Well, let's talk. I mean, before we get into the French thing, I like how it talks about like he's like, there are turn and cast of fancy, there are sentences, little handfuls of words in which a whole culture, a whole society suddenly crystallizes itself among these. Like, okay, so let's like, what are some examples of today that would be like phrases or words that kind of crystallize like different moments in time that we can remember?
Trans women are women.
Okay, that's a good one. Powerful one.
Safe and effective.
Safe and effective. Okay. Yeah.
Free Palestine.
Free Palestine.
True. But these words. Okay. I feel like we're leaning into like kind of like almost like the virtual signaling words, and like some of them come and go so fast too. But like
moments in time, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Any from like 2010s?
Yeah. Like time heals all wounds, like something like that. Like encapsulate like why
So like you guys had it right in the first place. I was trying to think of Black Lives Never be one. I was trying to think of something with bigger, like a longer scope of time and weight. But like these are all good ones too. I'm trying to think of like just the number 9/11 could be like one. You know,
it's interesting. All the ones that we like mentioned.
Safe and Effective was good. Black Lives Matter was a good one. I mean, that's for sure a moment in our time.
Yeah. Do we know any before 2020?
Before 2020? Occupy Wall Street.
Oh yeah, that's actually good.
Yeah. Tea Party.
Tea Party.
I was gonna say like change, like Obama's change thing.
Change.
Oh, the hope.
The Tea Party where people would get together, Republicans would get together.
You notice how the Tea Party just totally just disappeared, like out of nowhere, and then it just became all of a sudden now there's the Patriot Boys or whatever.
Right.
See how it's just all the time just a fucking psyop. Oh, like I don't know if you guys fucking clock that. It's always fucking fake.
Yeah, and I mean, so he's saying culturally, we've adopted this.
Make America great again.
Don't don't commit follies unless they bring you great pleasure is like a cultural idea that he thinks has been adopted.
True. Well, you could say, okay, I think I know what he really means. Okay, one of my coworkers or one of my boss, whatever, she's got a daughter who's like in her young 20s, and like something will talk about her, and she just says, I just want her to be happy. And I said, well, what does that mean? That's pretty like, I was like, that's kind of like, that's really nothing, you know? Like, you could be happy with like, that's very subjective, you know? So like, what is that? Like, what if like being happy means like you're Dexter from that show and you kill people? Like, are you still going to be like, I just want to be happy? You know?
It's the wrong goalpost.
Huh?
It's the wrong goalpost.
It's the wrong goalpost. Yeah, exactly. It's like what you want is like, you want her to be like safe and prosperous.
Yeah, secure and successful. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's actually what you want. Being happy, like what if like doing the worst things make you happy? Would you still want that?
Yeah.
Like you said, hedonistic. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think this advice is good at all. How about you guys?
No, absolutely not.
Well, I think that's why he's saying, I think it's sarcastic.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. I see. I can see that.
Yeah.
He's being sarcastic. He's like, the best advice a mom's ever given her son is the worst advice.
I see. Because you get almost literally.
Like that's how you gotta read it. Like, you can really remember his tone. Like, and another thing, like, you gotta remember his tone. Like, yeah, like what is he? Yeah,
I kind of took it in a way too, of like the best advice, like from a woman's perspective, is for her son to do the things that are gonna give him the most pleasure and almost like safety in a way. Rather than like the opposite advice, which would be, don't do the things that do you the most pleasure. Do the things that are actually the hardest things. But the difference between a mother and a father's like advice or a man's advice would be completely different.
Well, yeah. On the flip side, the best advice a father could give you is to become strong. So then you may handle everything. To become smart. So like no one can ever do the thinking for you. Like those would be real advice. And she's like,
it makes you think like follies means sin to me in this, in a sense. It's like, never commit sin, but if you are going to commit sin, make sure it brings you great pleasure. Like that.
Yeah, man. It's like if you're going to have premarital, go all the way, bro. That's what she's saying.
But
all right, let's move on.
Okay, I want to read 237 because it's a poem. So someone read 236.
2 lines. David, go ahead. David read the long one. He could do this one.
I have no doubt that every noble woman will oppose what Dante and Goethe believed about women. The former when he's saying, Ella guardava suso ed io in lei, and the latter when he interpreted it, the eternally feminine draws us aloft. For this is just what she believes of the eternally masculine. What is Ella guardava suso?
It's it means she looked upward and I at her. So like she's looking up at man.
What is aloft?
Yeah, and returned gaze. And aloft is like, up into the air, feeling lifted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, wait. Then the eternally feminine draws us aloft.
Yeah, lifted higher. Feels like lighter in the feet, right?
100%.
Right. And
or potentially makes us even aim higher because of that. Like, I feel like, I mean, like I'm sure like you're feeling this, Jay, or whatever, but like when the things that you're aiming at for the future, they're like loftier because you're like trying to factor in like Nadine as well, and like the potential, like what you and Nadine are like gonna do like in the future. And you're like, I need to stop thinking like small potatoes here. I need to think of the whole meal.
Right.
Yeah. Where a lot of times, like if there's no one causing you to feel aloft, like you can kind of be, what does a heavy object do? They sink.
Right. Yeah. And he's saying here too, like these noble women that he's mentioning, they would disagree with this, that, the eternally feminine makes the masculine aloft, and it's in reverse for the woman as well, because the eternally masculine brings feminine aloft. And
I agree.
noble women would disagree with that. Right. And I would say modern culture, a lot of modern culture sentiment, it would be to disagree with that.
But have you ever seen the video of that one chick who like says she went out with like a fucking like chat or whatever, and like it totally like reset her like just like what she thinks about like feminism? You guys know what I'm talking about?
No,
Because it's like,
plenty of videos like that though.
but at the end of the day, it's like all it takes is like one masculine man to make her like reset like all parameters of like what feminism means. She's like, maybe I do like the door being held open for me. Maybe I do like being picked up. Wait, Nick, he's paying the bill? Yeah, like, well, actually, maybe this is sick. And he's like, yeah, dude, like, let's do some trad wife shit. You know, she's like, wait, maybe I could wear a dress. Maybe I could collect eggs. You know, nowhere. Like, literally, it just takes one dude. They're like, wait, maybe I could live on a farm. I don't know. You know?
Yeah. Lady never imagined it. You know, my fiance now is like, when are you going to make me not have to work anymore? When am I going to be a stay-at-home wife? When am I going to be? It's like,
exactly, dude. Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. I think bottom line, that is it.
Could noble in this context be interpreted as pride?
The what?
Pride?
Noble's like a highly renowned, or like
in the context of how he's using it.
No, I think they just think
no, yeah, every noble woman, yeah.
The people that he mentioned before, Madame Roland de Stael and Monsieur George Sand, they're like noble. These are feminist icons, right?
Why would he say that they would disagree with this loftier approach to the internal feminine, the internal masculine?
Because he's saying that like on the most extreme side of feminism actually elevates masculinity, and the most extreme sides of masculinity would also elevate feminism, because like they're two pieces of the same whole. Like they actually complement each other, and like they're actually like accents to each other. But these women, these like noble women with like great ideals and have been like soldiers and lighthouses for feminism, would disagree with them, because they would say the very thought of that like extreme masculinity would actually be a compliment to feminism, or super feminism is actually complementing to masculinity. Like they would not see that, because what they're seeing is like they're trying to get like the two bar graphs to be equal type of deal. And like what we're saying is like actually they're complementary. And so he's saying these women would disagree with this like opinion.
Right.
Or this take.
The disagreement is like what the translation is: she looked upward and I at her. Right. And like John's saying is they would disagree with the eternally feminine draws us aloft and vice versa, because what that means is the bar is not equal. Right. Like John's saying is we're not looking upward at anybody. The feminist movement is that we are eye to eye. Right. And so they would disagree with this whole idea.
Like on the flip side, like if we let it be, like there could be times where like we look up to them, but not in like the same ways that they're looking up to us. Like we're not looking for those things. What we're looking for is like, again, we talked about earlier about like the soft voice and like the tenderness. He's like, those are things that like, because we lack those things in our life, like we lack tenderness, we lack grace, and that's why like those things soften us. Again, like, so yeah. And they don't want like what they're like, hey, he's saying is like those noble women are saying we're more than that.
Right.
Like we're equals in thought and ideas and philosophy. And he's like, that's all great and dandy, but that's not what we really are looking for.
Right.
His take.
Yeah. His take is that women shouldn't have to be that, or shouldn't be that, period. Right. This enlightened person, these enlightened people, because it takes away from the beauty of what is a woman to him.
Which is just like, yeah, exactly. Okay.
237.
All right. That's kind of like a poem or something. I liked it. 7 apophthegms for women. Did I say that right?
Apophthegms.
Yeah. Apophthegms?
Yeah.
Silent. Okay. Oh, silent. Okay. How the longest NU flees when a man comes to our knees. Age, alas, and science stayed, furnish even weak virtue aid. Sombre grab and silence meet, dress for every dame discreet. Whom I thank when in my bliss, God, and my good tailoress. Young a flower-decked cavern home, old a dragon fence doth roam. Noble title, leg that's fine, man as well, oh were he mine. Speech in brief, and sense in mass, slippery for the genius, for the Jenny ass. All right, let's break
I
that.
didn't know what some of these words meant. But so let's see. Apothegm is a concise saying or maxim, an aphorism. Okay.
Yeah.
So ennui is boredom. So the longest boredom flees when a man comes to our knees. So like these are kind of things for women, right? Is what he's saying. Your boredom will flee when a man comes to your knees. Age, alas, as science stayed. So stayed is to sedate, is respectable and unadventurous. And science stayed, furnish even weak virtue aid. So anybody want to take a stab at that one?
Nah, go for it. Tell me.
I'm taking a stab at it just like you guys. Age, alas, as and science.
Well, I like this next one. So let's just skip it. We don't fucking know it. I'm not going along, right? But okay. Go ahead, read it, Jay, and tell us what all the words mean. I'm sure you looked up all of them, right?
It's dark or dull in color or tone, so it's gloomy. So
Falls me garb, so dark clothes, and silence me, dressed for every damn discreet. I thought about it like this. When I read that, it was like the dress for every damn discreet. It was like look hot for the dudes, but have it on the DL. Like don't let them know that like you got multiple things like in motion all the time. You know, like that's the life of a woman.
Dress for every dame discreet. It's like modest. Be modest in your dressing, right?
Maybe.
All right. And whom I think when in my bliss, God and my good tailoress.
I thought that was funny. I think like I was laughing. I was like, I like that it rhymes. He wrote literally like poems.
Yeah. I mean, he's literally, he's saying, thank God for my good clothes. Young in flower decked cavern room, old a dragon fence doth roam. So like
he's talking about that fucking dragon in their pants, bro.
Dragon this then
what?
I wonder what dragon.
A young flower decked cavern home, and now an old dragon fence doth roam. I think it's like the classic like older guy, younger chick. You get a nice house, but what do you got to pay for it? Got to let the old dragon roam. You guys think I'm lying? I thought that's pretty good. Or is the clip letter saying?
I don't know. I think he was kind of like poking a shot. I don't know. Like I kind of took it like that's young, like young, a flower decked cavern home, like a woman, like their youth is gonna produce this thing, but like old is like the opposite. I feel like he was going in on like older women or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
If they become dragons or something, he's like, just be careful, like when they get older or something. I would in your home, like the
Yeah. All right. Noble title, leg, that's fine. Man as well, or oh, were he mine? Skip. Speech in brief and sense in mass, slippery for the Jenny ass.
Wait. I think the last one to me, noble title, leg, that's fine. Man as well, oh, were he mine? I think if they're talking about like, I think you talked about this earlier, Devin, when you were like, okay, there's two jobs. One's got social prestige and one makes the same amount of money. It's like, which one do you choose? It's like, they always choose the one with the social prestige, And like, all the time, like in the dating scene, we're kind of running like, kind of like analysis on like, how does this accent mean like my social structure? And like a guy with a good title or a noble title, whatever, it's like leg, that's fine or whatever. I don't know what you mean by that. I was like, none of that else, like, to me, is like none of that else matters. You have a good title, you're a duke. Oh, yippee. I'm your wife. I wish you were mine because you're a duke or you're a CEO of a company or whatever, like you would find valuable. Even though you're an owner of a farm and you're from a rural area, you're like the big guy on campus. You're the star quarterback of the high school football team. You know what? Or you're the fucking wide receiver of the college team. You know, if a girl dates that guy, she gets elevated too. And like none of the other things matter.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can also interpret the leg that's fine man as well. I think it's almost like it's a man that actually has a good appearance. That's those are great, but I think it still hits on noble title. Like noble title is what it leads with, but a man of physical stature is also like, ooh, I wish you were mine.
True.
Yeah. Desire, really.
Yeah.
All right. 237A.
Yeah, so you guys say that 237A was like, I mean, it's A, like literally goes.
So nice.
Yeah. So that would give us context onto this one. But does anybody else want to read?
You can go ahead, Dale.
Okay. Yeah.
Women has hitherto been treated by men like birds, which, losing their way, have come down among them from elevation, as something delicate, fragile, wild, strange, sweet, and animating, but as something also which must be cooped up to prevent it flying away.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought this was good. Again, like I think this is like a lot of him bleeding through it, you know, where he's talking about really the words when he goes delicate, fragile, wild, strange, sweet, and animating, especially like the wild, strange and stuff. It's like even for all of us, it's like when you like are romantic with someone, you know, and like especially in the beginning, like it's like we use the words like butterflies, or it's like it is strange. Like we really still don't understand women. That's like what's so like intoxicating about it, you know? So I thought that was interesting. And then how he ends it too. And again, like I think this is where like a lot of relationships or like men or whatever, this is like their hardest thing to deal with or whatever, is that like but as something also which must be cooped up to prevent it from flying away, you know? It's like the insecure because like we truly maybe don't understand them. We don't know like if we let them be, can one day they just not return home, you know, like metaphorically.
Yeah.
Not, like, and that means like they find a new lover. They're hiding something from you, whatever. Because like at the end of the day, we really don't understand what's going through their brain. You know, we only like kind of do. And like, that's what's like, I guess, scary about like letting this thing, the bird as example, occupy like your space. Is if you open up the windows and doors and you allow it the freedom to like fly in the sky, will it choose to come back home?
Yeah. I mean, you nailed it, dude. It's an interesting idea. Like it gives me a look into, it reminds me of Thus Spoke the Arthur Show, where it talks about women are, you choose out of these three animals, right? And it's bird, cat, and cow. Do you guys remember this?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So, like in this one, he's talking about women are like birds and they're coming down with this, like trying to become part of the Enlightenment. They're coming down from this like mystical elevation and now are becoming not so mystical, right? But as they are this mystical creature, we have to coop them up and prevent them from flying away, like John described. Is kind of the interpretation.
Well, I think it's just like what some people who especially are insecure struggle with the most, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But then it goes to like the old corny saying, it's like, if you love something, let it free, and if it comes back, it really loved you, you know? And like that, like that's the whole thing is like, especially I think in like today's age where the coop is not necessarily like a physical place. It's like a virtual space where like even if they're cooped up physically, like there's always like dudes in their DMs, whatever. There's like a virtual world, you know, where like, and that's like an extra layer of like I think freedom that intimidates men.
Yeah. I mean, I think we nailed that. It's on there. John, you did a good job with that one.
Mm-hmm.
I like how he keeps this like theme of a loftiness, this like this cloud-like feeling when you have an essence of feminine, eternal feminine in your life. I love how he's like keeping this theme, like when he's talking negative, he keeps the same negative theme throughout the contextual, the way he's describing things, and even in the positive light of things too. He's kind of keeping like a consistent theme through his writing.
Well, one of the themes too, like if we take everything he says and throws it into reverse or like summarize it, is that like there's another old saying where it's like behind every great man is a greater woman, but like, and the only reason he could be that great is because like he was supported correctly, right? So like she was like a great accent or attributor or compliment to like his cause, right? And like he's kind of making the argument. He's like, that's literally. He's like, I think the best balance, not just for us men, but for both of us. Where he's like, if we're so soul bent on being independent, then like, well, like, when do we make the whole thing, which is a union? You know?
Yeah.
It's like you guys just seem so hell bent on being like independent, and like turns out like maybe guys are more romantic because all we're yearning for is like a true union. You know?
Yeah. Yin and yang.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. 238. Does anybody want this one? I'll take 239, the long one.
Okay, I'll do 238 then. All right. Let me get some Diet Coke in me, a little fridge so
You need an intermission real quick? Restrooms or anything?
I'm good.
We're almost there.
All right.
We're almost there, don't worry. I'll count it. All right. To be mistaken in the fundamental problem of a man and woman, to deny here the profoundest antagonism and the necessity for an eternally hostile tension, to dream here perhaps of equal rights, equal training, equal claims and obligations. That is a typical sign of a shallow mindlessness, and a thinker who's proved himself shallow at this dangerous spot. Shallow in instinct, may generally be regarded as suspicious, nay more, as betrayed, as discovered. He will probably prove too short for all fundamental questions of life, future as well as present, and will be unable to descend into any of the depths. On the other hand, a man who has depth of spirit as well as of desires, and has also the depth of benevolence, which is capable of severity and harshness, and easily confounded with them, can only think of woman as Orientals do. He must conceive of her as a possession, as confidable property, as being predestined for service and accomplishing her mission therein. He must take his stand in this matter upon immense rationality of Asia, upon the superiority of instinctive Asia, as the Greeks did formerly, those best heirs and scholars of Asia, who, as is well known, with their increasing culture and amplitude of power, from Homer to the time of Perseus, became gradually stricter towards women, in short, more oriental. How necessary, how logical, and even how humanely desirable this was, let us consider for ourselves. All right. So he's like, listen, we got to go look to the Asians. They figured this shit out. It goes, he's like, I know we're thinking the Greeks. No, the Orientals.
Yeah.
They've got it figured out. They know their roles and they like their roles. He's like, none of the women over there want to be fucking factory worker. Hell nah, bro. They just want to make rice and say, I love you long time.
I really love this. I put wild, right? He said he must conceive of her as a possession, as confinable property, as a being predestined for service and accomplishing her mission therein. Yeah. I mean, if a feminist read this, they would lose their damn mind.
Fucking lose their shit.
What I would love to do though is like if you did like a survey, right? And you surveyed like a different, you could like formulate data points of what happiness means, okay? and then have them rate like a test, like 1 to 10. Like, how do you feel about these things? Like, how's like your home life? How's like your connection with your family? How's your purpose, whatever, compared to like boss women, right? And then compared to like the Orientals where he's talking about who are like predestined for service or whatever. And then like, I bet you those bitches over there in Asia are like probably come back happier statistically about like how they feel like orientated with like their life, with their family, their happiness. And like, they're not chasing some whatever corporate ladder to make like BlackRock fucking richer, you know, they're fucking actually invested in their family and their husband and shit.
I will say,
Have you seen Memoirs of a Geisha? It's kind of crazy.
No.
You should watch that movie.
All right. I'm down. Sounds very Oriental. You know how I like them. Sure. The culture. Whoa. Whoa. And I don't think it'd be wrong for me to say I love the Orientals too. Okay? Ryan's one of my best friends. He's an Oriental. I think it's fine. Jay's day one too. We like them here. Like we're fans. Okay. We're actually the biggest fans.
On
He
that
plays
note,
on us too.
with my fiance has family in Japan, and the wives over there, a couple of them, they don't like that. They don't like the way it's
Jason. They don't like what?
how women are treated with pregnancy in particular.
Here,
this is anecdotal. No, in Japan.
Oh, okay.
It's anecdotal, but like when you have a kid, things completely change for you in the working world. You now are like kind of looked at as like a
second class worker. You're like, yeah, you're like, go be a mom. The real players are playing. Well, let's get on the fourth quarter when we're up by 1 million.
yeah. No, they, I've heard anecdotal primary evidence from somebody who actually lives it that they don't like that. And I've heard also that it's playing a role in the way, like, there's falling birth rates across many Asian countries, right? Across nationwide.
Sure.
But in Asian countries, women are looked at like property in a sense, and men can kind of do whatever they want with that. And so it's leading to these kind of, falling in the dating scene. It's leading to falling in birth rates.
Well, no, you could flip it the opposite. I think you flip the opposite. Like, the reason why there's falling birth rates is because like there is a yearning for more feminism and equality in that particular nation. Okay, from the women's perspective. Okay, so what they're seeking is higher levels of independence. They have identified that in their culture they look as bench players in the workforce if they have children. So they're opting not to have children. So they're like rejecting the classical values. But like if you look at other like nations, let's say like a Muslim nation where those values are like super reinforced, the fact that we're like, you just have arranged marriages, there's no such thing as dating. Those guys have tons of kids.
Oh yeah.
So like the falling birth rates could be because like, again, what he's talking about is like literally chases something that actually isn't beneficial. He's like, you guys are crying that like they treat you like bench players because you have a kid. He goes, why do you want to fucking work, bro? Work fucking sucks. Hey, like that's what you're crying about? Oh my gosh, dude. It's like,
we hear more and more women say, I didn't fight for this. I didn't fight for this.
Yeah, exactly. You didn't fight for fucking half your paycheck to go to Israel, but here we are, fucking.
Yes.
You voted for it. We actually had a good system going, actually. We had a good system going. You could buy a 4-bedroom house off of one income, and it was fucking fine. You could raise the kids, and the kids weren't brainwashed and fucking by kindergarten. But here we are now. We got what we wanted. The kids are trans. They're on SSRIs. Everyone's unhappy. I hope we're happy, everybody.
All right. I will jump to 239 now. We could open that can of worms, but we got a lot of content today, so we'll keep going.
Well, this is the last one. Okay, this is actually so much. So good luck, Jay. Everyone buckle up. He's going to be talking for a while.
Yeah. Grab some popcorn, hit the like button, subscribe. All right. So aphorism 239. The weaker sex has in no previous age been treated with so much respect by men as at present. This belongs to the tendency and fundamental taste of democracy, in the same way as disrespectfulness to old age. What wonder is it that abuse should be immediately made of this respect? They want more. They learn to make claims. The tribute of respect is at last felt to be well nigh galling. Rivalry for rights, indeed actual strife itself, would be preferred. In a word, woman is losing modesty. And let us immediately add that she is also losing taste. She is unlearning to fear man. But the woman who unlearns to fear sacrifices her most womanly instincts. That woman should venture forward when the fear-inspiring quality in man, or more definitely, the man in man, is no longer either desired or fully developed, is reasonable enough and also intelligible enough. What is more difficult to understand is that precisely thereby woman deteriorates. This is what is happening nowadays. Let us not deceive ourselves about it. Wherever the industrial spirit has triumphed over the military and aristocratic spirit, woman strives for the economic and legal independence of a clerk. Woman as clerkess is inscribed on the portal of the modern society, which is in course of formation. While she thus appropriates new rights, aspires to be master and inscribes progress of woman on her flags and banners. Very opposite realizes itself with terrible obviousness. Woman retrogrades. Since the French Revolution, the influence of woman in Europe has declined in proportion as she has increased her rights and claims, and the emancipation of women, insofar as it is desired and demanded by women themselves, and not only by masculine shallow pates, thus proves to be a remarkable symptom of the increased weakening and deadening of the most womanly instincts. There is stupidity in this movement, an almost masculine stupidity, of which a well-reared woman, who is always a sensible woman, might be heartily ashamed. To lose the intuition as to the ground upon which she can most surely achieve victory, to neglect exercise in the use of her proper weapons, to let herself go before man, perhaps even to the book, where formerly she kept herself in control and in refined, artful humility, to neutralize with her virtuous audacity men's faith in a veiled, fundamentally different ideal in woman, something eternally, necessarily feminine, to emphatically and loquaciously dissuade man from the idea that woman must be preserved, cared for, protected, and indulged, like some delicate, strangely wild, and often pleasant domestic animal, the clumsy and indignant collection of everything of the nature of servitude and bondage, which the position of woman is hitherto existing. In the hitherto existing order of society has entailed and still entails, as though slavery were a counter-argument, and not rather a condition of every higher culture, of every elevation of culture. What does all this betoken, if not a disintegration of womanly instincts, a defeminizing? Certainly, there are enough idiotic friends and corrupters of woman along the learned asses of the masculine sex, who advise women to defeminize herself in this manner, and to imitate all the stupidities from which man in European manliness suffers. Who would like to lower women to general culture? Indeed, even the newspaper reading and meddling with politics. Here and there, they wish even to make women into free spirit and literary workers, as though a woman without piety would not be something perfectly obnoxious or ludicrous to a profound and godless man. Almost everywhere, her nerves are being ruined by the most morbid and dangerous kind of music, our latest German music, and she is daily being made more hysterical and more incapable of fulfilling her first and last function, that of bearing robust children. They wish to cultivate her in general still more, and intend, as they say, to make the weaker sex strong by culture, as if history did not teach in the most emphatic manner that the cultivating of mankind and his weakening, that is to say, the weakening, dissipating, and languishing of his force of will, have always kept pace with one another, and that the most powerful and intellectual women in the world, and lastly, the mother of Napoleon, had just to thank their force of will, and not their schoolmasters, for their power and ascendancy over men, that which inspires respect in women, and often enough fear also is her nature, which is more natural than that of man, her genuine carnivora-like cunning flexibility, her tiger claws beneath the glove, her naivetes and egoism, her untrainableness and innate wildness, the incomprehensibleness, extent, and deviation of her desires and virtues, that which, in spite of fear, excites one's sympathy for the dangerous and beautiful cat, woman, is that she seems more afflicted, more vulnerable, more necessitous of love, and more condemned to disillusionment than any other creature. Fear and sympathy, it is with these feelings that man has hitherto stood in the presence of woman, always with one foot already in tragedy, which rends while it delights. What? And all that is now to be at an end? And the disenchantment of woman is in progress? The tediousness of woman is slowly evolving? Oh, Europe, Europe. We know the horned animal, which was always most attractive to thee, from which danger is ever again threatening thee. Thy old fable might once more become history, and immense stupidity might once again overmaster thee and carry thee away, and no God concealed beneath it, no. Only an idea, a modern idea.
Okay. Can I take some stabs?
Yeah.
Okay, well, one, I really want us to, real quick, do a check on me. When was this book written? 18 what?
Beyond.
It's going to be important kind of what I'm tying into. And it's going to tie into, I think, what we're talking about today.
1886.
Okay, so he's talking about, he gets this idea about, like, there's also these men in these areas that are helping kind of like perpetuate or like support women being more manly or being free, right?
Performative men.
And I first thought of as like, in today's world, women are like these OnlyFans things, okay? And like there's men in these spaces that are like, being like, it is a good thing that you do OnlyFans because like you're liberating yourself and like you don't need to like, you like it's your thing, you can do whatever you want. And like us, like real men are like almost heartbroken, and that's like, that's what you want to do with your life. It's like you want to go on a camera and like shove stuff up your butt or have sex. Like it's sad, you know? But for like the sake of feminism, they can do whatever, you know? And like there's males in that space, like the porn industry was like an example of that, by the way, you know? And then he talks about how like our latest German music and how it's like pretty much like propagandizing their brain. Okay. And everything's kind of talking about how like there's like all these mechanisms that are actually like heightening this sense of like this is actually what we want, heightening feminism. Let's call it that.
Deteriorating woman.
Right. They're actually encouraging the deteriorating woman, right? To this into this new thing. Okay. Where like there is no like things are in flux, by the way. And I want to just let us remember like this book just a few decades later was picked up by Hitler, and he goes, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Yeah. And it even applies today, like you're saying, like,
well,
hip-hop,
exactly,
right?
Even today, like people control the porn industry, you know,
right.
And like they're telling women like this is a great thing for you to do. People control the media industry, and they're like Doechie's rapping about fucking like her pussy and shit on fucking music. Like so is Cardi B, and they're like, that's great. You should do more of that, you know?
Right.
Like
The culture demands it.
the culture, that's what they're telling. They go, they go, women want you to think about your wet ass pussy. They like not only are we, and like, so what does that do to a fucking 12-year-old girl to fucking WAP? Like, what do you think that fucking does to their fucking brand, dude? So it's just like that's what he's talking about. He's like, at all angles, there's these agents that are helping the assistance of the deteriorating woman, you know? And like now we're at a full swing where like men can play to women's sports. I don't know, just like but there's no such thing, right? Is what they're getting at. They go, you can be as free as you want. You can do OnlyFans. That's the, remember that body blue Andrew Tate thing? The ultimate form of feminism is just body blue. Andrew Tate said that shit. And actually, for once, he like a fucking clock's fucking twice, like a broken clock's twice a day, right? Like Andrew Tate does say something that's funny. He's like body blue. He goes, I'm proud of you. He goes, I think this is the culmination of all feminism. Is you. You want to fuck 1,000 guys a day? Good for you, sweetie. Like you do that. And like she's got a momager, you know, and her dad. And like they're all like, whatever, if you want to do that, like it's your life. You should be. What's the advice the mom told the fucking son? If you're gonna make follies, at least have them fun. That's Bonnie Blue's life. You know? Fuck it. Go for 2,000. Fuck it.
24,000. She's fast funny.
The culture demands it, Bonnie.
Yeah, the culture demands it. Yeah, I mean, here, I'll read you what I got here. The too long didn't read segment from AI.
By the way, AI's like, he's kind of hitting the nail on the head, though. Am I right?
So here's what I got. It says, Nietzsche sees modern woman as having lost her power and mystique by striving for emancipation and equality. Instead of reverence, he sees a degeneration into blandness. He believes the shift from instinct to intellect, from mystery to exposure, is a symptom of a broader cultural decline. Yeah.
Oh, and like, just an example I like to think is like, okay, for you guys, like, what do you, I think we're so all the time, like, okay, back in the day, like people would have to like get dirty magazines, okay, to see like tits or whatever, or naked women, okay? And like now all the time, like there's so much of that. Like you should go to the fucking gym to see how women dress, you know?
Right.
Sometimes it's almost like I think more attractive and more appealing when like they just wear like a nice sundress. It's actually very modest. Do you guys know what I'm saying? And I think that's what you're kind of touching on is like the modesty and like the
exposure.
The exposure. Actually, like because we're exposed so much to it, like it's having the opposite effect. We actually like kind of like the not a lot of exposure, and then you kind of like it's like a mystery to you, you know?
Yeah, it is more attractive. It really is. At least for somebody who's trying to stick around for a long time, you know?
True. Yeah. I mean, if it's just lust, right? Then sure. But like when you're doing like the analysis of like who's going to stick around longer, it's going to be the girl who's dressing modest, not the girl who's dressed like with the girl wearing the headband that says slut. Am I right, David?
She's wearing fucking flag pants, the flannel ones. You know what I'm saying? Dangerous. Get away.
Well, it's just the headband that says that. Like, that's crazy. What's it?
If she wears the flag pants, just run the other way. Yeah.
Not the move, boys.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think? You believe that like this shift to exposure is leading to like a cultural decline of women?
I think there are some things that we can say like we just talked about or like should be on the table more for discussion about like what like I know we use that like example like WAP, right, for a 12-year-old's mind or something. We could say that for like gangster rap for like a young kid's mind, you know what I mean? Like everything.
I agree with that. 12-year-olds listen to fuck
yeah, or like shit that just sounds like, you know, kind of like weird. I think the older we get, we start to see it. Maybe the younger generation maybe doesn't, but I think exposure in general of things like, I mean, we just saw like, you know, like Charlie Kirk's like death on camera, you know, like that girl that got stabbed on the bus. Like there is something I think evil brewing with the the exposure that we're letting into like our mind and our eyes just via these screens. And that is the whole thing in itself, you know, but like
I agree.
the psychological effect behind it is from like these like strides of like trying to make things like equal, trying to neutralize I don't know, I guess it's like just different dynamics between men and women or other things, but there's like real consequences and effects that like maybe they're just like not important to people, but I mean they should be.
Well, we could talk about like when the consequences are literally like high school girls graduate and they started OnlyFans. Like Lil TJ did a OnlyFans like countdown clock down to when she turns 18. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. She did a fucking like countdown so she can post her first OnlyFans, and she made like $3 million like the first 24 hours. Yeah, so what sometimes I think that's a psyop in itself. Like that they're like I think sometimes like there's organizations like OnlyFans has a shell company that like helps produce these large funds so they can then like it's propaganda for like other young women. They'd be like, I don't need to go to college. I'll just be an OnlyFans to show my butthole or whatever. And then they're not successful. They've ruined their fucking online footprint. They can't get a job anywhere, and they've made no actual money. You know, like me and Dave were talking about this, but like there's this one OnlyFans person. She's like the top grossing one, whatever, and she makes like $300 million, okay, a year, okay. Like there's a whole thing that's like that's laundering money. But again, like young women see that, and like maybe like they're not already at a good place foundationally, okay? Like the same type of women that would want to become strippers or something, they do this OnlyFans thing. And now the scope's even bigger because you get on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and like your algorithm is feeding you that type of shit, like on purpose, you know?
Yeah. I think the wicked thing that I think about the most is like, I don't know if you guys seen that story with the whole, that singer, and then that kid.
David? Yeah, and the 14-year-old that you fucking were in the back was at Hessel.
I can't remember who I was talking to this about, but the idea of like an 18-year-old, 17-year-old turning 18, which is weird in itself that there's a countdown, which it's not other women purchasing that content, it's men. So you're saying that the men are waiting for you to turn a legal age to purchase content from you. So it's almost propagating this like underage, this like weird tone of like pedophilia.
It's like they're like it's cool now. It's
cool
now.
Like, that is that
clock says so.
So to me, it's like there's this wicked undertone with all of this like entertainment culture that's happening at the same time, with people like the deaths that are happening live on camera that we could watch over and over again, with this like sexually driven culture that's like not making sense. Like the way these are intertwined in our culture right now is like very worrying. But I think the difference that I've like recognized in someone like a Lil Tay that drops stuff, kind of shit's sad, you know. It's like, I think it's a some of your room to be like these weird like. It's just so like it just makes my
the accessibility or the like how easy it is to access this stuff now is like getting it's already there, like the access there, but it's getting like infinitely weirder. Like I don't know if you guys saw the Charlie Kirk shooter. Apparently, allegedly, you know, he had this like furry porn like addiction and was playing video games where it's like people dress up as animals, but there's some kind of like weird child like thing behind it, and that's like what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like what the.
By the way, my boomer dad had to fucking he's like what does that mean? What does being a furry mean? Was there all right? I was like, you want to have this conversation at breakfast? I was there. So like these dudes like to wear fucking costumes and like fuck each other. Like that's what's going on. He's like, what do you mean? Like, what type of costume? He's like Tom and Jerry costume. I was like, yeah. A fucking guy's wearing like a Tom and Jerry fucking suit. He's fucking gets fucked, and he's like, that's crazy. Honestly, that's not like your boomer dad. He's like trying to like he's trying to fucking be caught up on the news. He's learning new words. He's like, wait, I gotta go back. I gotta go back to the garage where shit makes sense, bro. Like. Bitch, my drug things.
Go to the garage with the tools. Like,
he's that guys. Like you just be like, birds like,
I gotta take the rest of the day, process this stuff. Like, I don't know. What's the world come to? And then he's more sad that Robert and I know exactly what a furry is. What do you mean? Like, is that normal? Like, Robert, there's tons of them. Yeah, like they're everywhere, really.
Oh, you never thought about Jessica Rabbit, Dad? Come on.
Like even Playboy, they put fucking rabbit ears on those, but like it's all about the hongers. I don't know if I can get it, like.
I think there's something really like spiritually evil happening in the world. Something having to do with like even like humans, right? Of like this like furry kind of like I don't know, this like love of like dressing up like an animal and like wanting to like blur the lines between human and like kind of like animalistic shit. You know,
sure. One favorite word is transcendent. They want us to for real be trans, like not just transsexual, trans everything. Like
and is it non-human? It's like
we're not like you don't have an emotion, you don't have principles, you don't own anything, you're nothing, you're just a tax cattle. Don't have families, don't have love.
Podcast about this on Jordan Peterson. It's probably older now. I'm probably like a year older, but he had another psychologist talk about what it does to when you're shown so much sexual like activity, like the way we are described today in today's society. What it does is just push you further and further to the extreme arousal state, which you don't know how to find normalcy and normal interaction anymore, to where you're seeking extreme measures to find arousal. And so you're these like things like furries or like any of these wild like bestiality type things. It's like, what the fuck is happening? It's because there's no more normalcy in that sexual culture anymore.
Well, they're always like looking for like the next like crazy thing. Like normal sex isn't enough. I need to watch the furries.
Yeah, it's crazy. That podcast is kind of insane.
That's all this. She's like, what the?
She's doing some homework. She's listening to some of it.
So it doesn't matter. She's good.
She is base. She is more base. She's base leaning.
Yes, yeah. I mean, that's all you can ask for nowadays.
I wouldn't even want a fully based. That'd be too much. We just want again. What we talked about is like we don't worry about stuff like that. It's fine.
You guys.
They are confirmed, by the way. That's been confirmed over there. They are turning the frogs gay. Sometimes I do feel like Alex Jones. I have to like. This is all the total. We'll talk about that shit later. But my dad was like, he's like, do not say this shit around Roe. Because I was talking to him about that. I was like, did you hear about the convention they did in fucking Israel this fucking week? The 50 states wanted Israel, and how all 250 of their delegates went to Israel for a re-education training camp. And they're like, $3 million to you? $3 million to you. Now remember, what is your primary goal? To support Israel at all costs. Like, I was like, doesn't that make you mad? And he's like, it just sounds crazy you're saying it. I was like, I'm not saying anything. This is what they did this week. Like I think it's crazy too. I like Alex Jones was like, well, did you see the football game? It's like, why are you talking about that with stuff? It's like, I think it's crazy too that Auburn leaders went to Israel for the weekend.
All right, you guys ready to wrap that up? No, before we get canceled and then
I had to cut that last part. Go.
Joins on the Google call. They're like, "Hey guys, how's it going?"
I don't think we said anything bad. It was a dancing conversation. We'll say. Take that. All right. If you guys enjoyed this episode, go ahead and drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell so you're prompted whenever we upload a new video. That was Friedrich Nietzsche's Beyond Good and Evil, the end of chapter 7, titled Our Virtues. Our next meeting, we're going to start chapter 8, titled Peoples and Countries. We're getting pretty close to the end here. I think we have like 40 more aphorisms, something like that. 40, 50 more. So we're getting close to the end. We hope you're reading along with us, and drop your comments down below. Your favorite part so far. What do you think about his take on women? It'll be an interesting discussion down in the comments below. So again, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And remember, who you are today equals who you'll be tomorrow. Peace.
Amen.